What is going on, guys? It is late at my house, but this is a video I wanted to do forever. I just hit 300 subscribers. I know it's not that much, but to me that means something. I love people who watch my videos because I love talking about video games. So let's get started. I want to talk about some Sega Saturn games, and this is kind of what got me into. Holy crap! Video games are amazing. The graphics are crazy. I love playing them. This took me to another level. So I do have a lot to pay to Sega Saturn. Also, all the Dreamcast games that I absolutely love kind of started on the Sega Saturn, and I'll go into that a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about more of my rare games because everyone watches these videos because they love rare games, you know, and they want to see, oh, this guy has this game, this game. So I'm not here to brag about them, but that's why you're here. That's Yoshi. You can get out of here. But let's get started. First game I'm going to talk about is, let's see, Warcraft 2 for the Sega Saturn. This is actually a pretty good game. With all the buttons that the Sega Saturn has, this actually works pretty well. Better than the PlayStation version of it. So I had to get that. Next, this is one of the best games for the Sega Saturn, Astal. It's on a lot of people's hidden gems list, but geez, this game is awesome. The color in this game the color palette just blows my mind, and it's one of the best looking games, and one of the most unique, I guess, platformers I've ever played as far as the controls go. It's really neat. It's really neat. This isn't that good of a game, but I think the cover art for this, now, who buys games for cover art? Well, I actually did, because this cover art looks so cool. I love how Sonic is huge on it. But it's not that good of a game. Now, D2 on the Sega Genesis is a good game, but where to get started? Right here. D on the Sega Saturn. Good little horror game, fun to play around Halloween. Kind of like a Resident Evil type game. A little different. Next we have Shining Wisdom by Wisdom Tree. This is a beautiful, beautiful action RPG. Beautiful. I love the cover art on this as well. Now these games can get expensive on the Sega Saturn. I would get them now. I really think that they're only going to go up in price like most video games. So I would start picking up Sega Saturn games if you can now. Not on eBay, but at your local stores. Next, Mysteria. Another little colorful RPG. Looks really good. It's a 3D RPG. Check it out. It's really good. Now this is one of the best RPGs on the system. It's the last game released in the United States, and that is Magic Knight Rayearth. It's another Working Designs game. Did they ever make a bad game on these systems, on the PS1 or the Sega Saturn? I don't think so. So I would check that out if you're into RPGs. I'm sorry. Next, this is like a top-down little action game. It reminds me a lot of the games on the Game Boy Advance that didn't have enough power to do like a first-person perspective, so they did just a top-down shooter, and that's what I would call this. It's just a top-down shooter. It could have been a little better, but I like this game. It almost is like a perfect game, but there's a little hiccup. There's some hiccups in the gameplay. I could say the controls, stuff like that, but I really think it's a must-have for the Sega Saturn. All right, we're getting all our RPGs out of the way. This is Shining the Holy Ark. Sorry for the glare, but I'm again on the floor. This is a great RPG. I don't know. I have a lot of these RPG games for the Saturn, but I love them all. All right, now let's get into some of the defining games for the Sega Saturn. Obviously, Panzer Dragoon. And the second one, now, I don't have the third one, Saga. And I wouldn't spend money on it because it's not my type of game to spend that much money on. But these first two games are on-rail shooters. They're fantastic. If you're watching my video on Sega Saturn, you probably heard tons about the rail shooters, the Panzer Dragoon series. So check them out if you've never played them. They're awesome. It's worth whatever you spend on them. It really is. And those are going up in price. I saw those like $10 and $15 back in the day is how much I spent for them, and now they're a little more than that. So definitely check out those games. Next, we're gonna have X-Men. This is a fighter. The Sega Saturn is known for shooters and fighters. I don't have that many of each, but this is a great fighter. It's one of the best looking fighters on the system. Now, one of the most rare games on the system is Winning Post, but it's not that expensive. It might eventually be expensive, but right now it's not that expensive. It is a great game if you like horse racing games, and I don't think it's that expensive because it's a horse racing game, but it's a very limited print run. So check it out if you like horse racing games, or if you're just trying to collect really rare games. Now, I have a lot of junk here, but mixed in, I have some good games over here. So first one is Striker 96. This is pretty cool because you can play indoor soccer. It's one of the first indoor soccer games I've ever played. Sega Rally, wow, these racing games are great. I love the Sega Saturn for the racing games, just because they're all arcadey, and I think I've played every one in the arcade, and that's why I have to pick up as many as I can. Holy crap, it's a perfect port of Die Hard Arcade because it's Die Hard Arcade. I played this in Puerto Rico. It's the first time I played it when I was, I don't know, 10 or 12, and I fell in love with this game. And when I found out that it was released on the Sega Saturn and it was like a perfect port, I worship the game. It's my favorite game on this system. The trilogy combines 3 games into one: a light gun game, a driving game where you like play as a taxi, and then a third-person perspective shooter. It's really good. People don't like it that much. They say it's broken, the controls are broken, whatever. You're playing as John McClane in Die Hard. It's worth whatever you spend on it, which won't be that much. Need for Speed, again, this is where a lot of great games got started on the Sega Saturn. Need for Speed is one of them. It's a great racer. What's next here? Doom, first-person shooter, and better than, not the computer, but better than the other console version like Super Nintendo and stuff like that. So check out Doom. Gex, great little fun platformer. Fantastic arcadey type style snowboarding game. If you combine like 1080 with cool borders, but then make the controls a lot easier and more fun and accessible, you get this game. So check out Steep Slope Sliders. Resurrection, never played it. This looks like a little bit of a quirky fighting game, to tell you the truth. Now, the Jaguars, a lot of people say Jaguar has the best Road Rash game. I'm going to say Sega Saturn does with that game. Has cool music videos, and it also has awesome, good stereo music. Fighting Vipers is a fantastic fighter, 3D fighter on the system. It's an exclusive, so check it out. Why not throw in the best game on the system, in the opinion of most people? And that would be Nights into Dreams. This would be the reason to get the Sega Saturn, to be honest with you, is Night into Dreams. You won't play anything like it ever. And it comes with that 3D controller, which you can play a lot of great fighters with. Another little fun racing game with trucks. Now look at this. Not that good of a game, but I bought it for the stickers, and there's another game in here that I bought for the stickers just because, I don't know, it tickled my pickle, and you can see that it was only 89 cents, so I got it. Wow, what a hidden gem on the Sega Saturn. An exclusive down here, as you can see, point-and-click adventure, really eerie type game, another fun one to play on Halloween. Here's an arcadey wrestling game. It really is exaggerated with the moves and all that fun stuff, the special moves. It's great. I'll check it out. Next, Space Hulk. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but this is on the PS1, and I thought it was like a point-and-click adventure mixed with a first-person shooter, but on this, it looks like a first-person shooter. I haven't played it yet, though, so because I just got it. Next, Cyber Speedway. This is a little racer. It looks like the Wipeout series, to tell you the truth, and it looks really good. Can't wait to check it out. This is in the bargain bin of a lot of people. It's not that rare of a game, and it's not that good of a game. Now, this is the sequel to The Lost Vikings, North by Northwest, and I would say it's a little better. Graphics are better, gameplay's better, everything's a little better. I would check it out. It's really good. If you liked the first one, if you didn't like the first one, you're not gonna like that one. The Legend of Oasis is now, this is again another exclusive. There's some great exclusives out there for the Sega Saturn. You do have to kind of dig deep. There's not that many, but the ones that are out there are worth getting. So this is one of them. Great graphics, really colorful. Probably the best stunner game on the system, Area 51. Must have, if you have a stunner. Dark Savior. Wow. First of all, does she not look like Miley Cyrus? I don't know. This is in the Landstalker series of games, and it has that weird control mechanic where you can't walk around. It's like you walk on angles. So if you don't like that, you won't like this. It's a little bit of an action game, but at the same time, it's like it's slow. So if you know that doesn't appeal to you, if it's slow RPGs don't appeal to you, don't get that. Now this is one of the best puzzle games on the system. It's really neat and unique. Bust a move. If you've never played it, look into the series. If you're into puzzle games, look into it. But you basically try to just shoot up your little gems and get 3 in a row and clear your board before the other person. Virtua Athlete 2K and Sydney 2000 are two of my favorite games on the Dreamcast, and this is kind of where it got started with Decathlete. Quick time events and button smashing is basically what this game's all about. If that sounds good to you, check it out. Great first-person shooter, Quake. Quake on the Dreamcast is another unbelievable game. So that's where it got started on the Sega Saturn right there, Quake. Well, computer as well, but on the consoles. There you go. And then here's another first-person shooter that is on the CPU, but also on the consoles, and this is Hexen. A little darker. Controls aren't quite as good. One of the best, if not the best, racers on the system, Daytona USA. I love this game. I just put it in and play on easy mode, and then just play the first level. It's great, and I just try to win the first level, and then I can just play one like 2 to 3 minute game and be done with it. But then I always come back to it. This is a fantastic hidden gem on this system. Courier Crisis reminds me a lot of Crazy Taxi, but you're taking packages for people. You can flick people off. You can punch people. You can run people over. You can hit ramps. You can actually unlock a bike that has rockets on it. It's just crazy. It's a lot of fun. Virtua Cop 2, another stunner game, another exclusive. What can I say? It's great. It's fantastic. If you haven't played in the arcades, pick it up. Here is my other little game where someone just straight graffitied the heck out of this game with Nintendo stickers. That's the only reason why I got this game. I don't know if it's a good game or not, but I got it because of that. This game I actually got day one when it was released for the Sega Genesis. So that's kind of why I had to pick it up for the Sega Saturn, because it was really cheap, and I just want to kind of relive the magic moments that I had with the game. I believe I always picked the Blackhawks. This is a great tennis game. I love tennis, and I don't know if I'd say probably not, but because it's not a Sega creator, but the Virtua tennis games on the Dreamcast, it kind of reminds me of those a little bit. Just the controls aren't quite as good. Robotica or Robotica, probably Robotica. This is a weird-looking sci-fi kind of shooter fighting against robots. From what I've played, it's a clunky game and too slow to enjoy. And now, something interesting about the Sega Saturn is they have a lot of pinball games and bowling games, like multiple. Unnecessary, but they're not bad. People like them. And this one looked the most, I guess, unique, so I wanted to pick it up. It was cheap. This is one of the best, most hidden gem kind of racers on the system. This is a fun bike racing game. Controls are spot on, as you would expect, and the graphics are spot on for the era. So check out this game if you like racers. One of the best fighters on the system, even though it's pretty cheap. You can get this for really, really cheap, and it's a must-have. They improved the speed of the game, the floatiness of the game. You still float, but they improved the floatiness of the game, and it's a great game. So, Virtua Fighter 2, and just a side note, this is why I got into the Sega Saturn right here. Is the first Virtua Fighter, when I saw it, blew my mind, and I said, Sega is king. Is what it is, and that's why I became a Sega fanboy ever since. I still love Nintendo, but Sega is, in my eyes, the best. All right, next, Center Ring Boxing. This is a game that's so bad it's good. Slow game, but at the same time, and bad graphics, but at the same time, this game's so much fun to play because like you can knock people out pretty easily, and the controls are actually not that bad. It's just a slow game. That's not like it doesn't emulate boxing that well. Okay, I think I talked about Fighting Vipers. I have 2 of those. Here's another soccer game. Sorry, spamming sports games here. Mech Warrior 2 is a little hidden gem mech game. Bazooka Tone is, I think, a hidden gem. Again, there's a lot of hidden gems out there, so keep looking for them. But this is one of them. Fun platformer, okay? Very fun platformer, but you use this Bazooka Tone as your weapon, kind of like an Earthworm Jim. That's how it fires. So, very similar to that, a little darker, but fun. And 2 sports games at the end. These are actually considered to be very good games. Very good baseball games. I have just 2 more here. Hold on one second. Sorry. What's a collection without Dungeons and Dragons, which is my second favorite game on the system? It's the best beat 'em up of all time, easily. Fantastic. You just needed a ram cart. What's this? Oh yeah, this is a pretty good game too. This is probably the best shooter of all time as well. Radiant Silvergun, fan-freaking-tastic. Love that. And then Virtua Fighter 1. Now, in the background, you can see I have a Sega Saturn kiosk, which is pretty cool. And you can see I have my little Nintendo gun that I made into a lamp, which is pretty cool as well. But anyway, guys, that's my Sega Saturn. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. You guys are awesome. I love commenting. So if you guys ever send comments to me, I promise I'll send back or make my best effort to send back a little reply and talk to you about video games, because that's why I made this channel. Anyway, guys, take care. I hope you enjoyed.